Welcome, everyone. This is the 10th Women in Leadership Mastermind live stream. I'm glad that you are here. It's February 2023. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that you're going to be inspired and challenged by today's speakers. Each is going to share their journey, and each is going to challenge us as we listen. Let's have that ear of knowing or listening to what happened, when it happened, what sparked them to change directions, if they changed directions, or what inspired them to do the things they do now. I'm glad that all the speakers are from different fields, and I'm glad that they have accepted to speak to us today and share their stories. So welcome. Once again, my name is Winnie Kamuya, CEO, International Renaissance Center, an international best-selling author, a speaker, and a leadership coach. And it's time, again, we get the inspiration that we need to look at our life, our careers, and see whether we need to change something or do something to get to the next level. And I'm glad that you are here because you are here to be challenged. You are here to see the next stage of your life. Welcome. And our first guest is Rose. And before Rose speaks, I would like to just do a short introduction to get to know who is Rose, and maybe she'll tell us more about herself. So Rose Akudo, I think she would say the second name, which is an interesting name, Mumitsi. I don't know whether I've pronounced it, but Rose Akudo thrives in building linkages and developing markets for businesses. So if you're in business, you're in the right place, and she's the right person to speak to you. She's energetic and optimistic, has a witty sense of humor. I can tell you lots of that she has. Easily connects with people from all walks of life. She is really, and she does. She's a certified speaker. She regales our audience with logic, interspersed with humor. Okay, what I can say earlier is that she has a great sense of humor. Rose has a great sense of humor. So don't get surprised when she brings the humor here today, because that's who she is. She's a pioneer of commerce graduate from Kenyatta University. Rose is a doubting mother to two young adult girls who are still marveling at the fact that her nest is empty. Time really flies. Rose loves God, and she serves from a deep place in her heart as a Sunday school teacher. I know her as that. She loves that part at Sitam Valley Road, and she is an international certified ISMT trainer of trainers for Sunday school teachers from any church in the country and across the world. Wow, Rose, that's a lot. That's a lot. So you're an entrepreneur, you are a Sunday school teacher. Lots of humor, that's what I know, because anytime you meet Rose, there she is with that humor. Now, with all those many hats, who is Rose? Maybe from the horse's mouth, who is Rose?
Wow. Thank you so much, Winnie. I was laughing as you were speaking because I was wondering even who are you speaking about? Yeah, so I'm really honored. It's a privilege to be here. And thank you so much, Winnie. I totally admire the work that you've been doing through the years. Maybe the audience may not know, but I've known you since you were in primary school. So I've known you for a long time. And we literally grew up together. So of course, you're my senior. And I've always admired the leadership quality in you that has been expanded through the years. Now, my name is, as you said, Rose Akudo. Mumitsi is a name that came from my dad's side. And what he said is that it means I am going to be a creative person. that time I was a tiny weeny girl, tiny wee girl. I didn't understand what is this creative thing. But he told me that you're going to have ideas, and I kept on wondering, what do you mean? But as life has gone on, I have actually understood what he meant, because I've seen some of it actually coming to pass. I'm a mother. I'm a mother of 2 adult girls. Yes, they're now grown. And yes, it actually hit me like a bomb that children grow and they fly off the nest. My youngest is in university and she resides in campus, you know. So basically, I do not have young children to run to. And I'm glad that I do have the opportunity, and I still have lots of energy to run and now do the rest of the things that make me happy. Yeah. As you have been told, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I was in the corporate space for a lot of years. I think for about, I can count maybe about 16 years, 17 years. I was working in the marketing department. Yes, I am a commerce graduate, and I majored in marketing. And so throughout my life, I have worked in sales. And there's a time somebody told me something. One of our finance managers in one of my the places I worked, he told me, Rose, the day you'll discover who you are, you will never work for anyone. You will start working for yourself. And so I put these words into action. What? And I can actually say, don't do this at home, because what I did was to step away from a 6-figure job in 2012 when my firstborn finished Form 4, when she finished high school, just before she got into college. I stepped from a corporate space, and I was comfortable. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do in terms of income, but honestly, I was comfortable. I was able to take care of all my bills. And I jumped into the field of where you don't know anything in terms of you have to build a business from scratch. You have to, now nobody is giving you a customer list. Can you imagine? You have to create your own customers. And what I have seen through the years as I have been establishing myself is that, number one, as an entrepreneur, you'll actually end up having a lot of starts here and there. But now the magic is in being able to reinvent yourself. So yes, I am a mother. I am, of course, I love children. Yes, I serve in church. I don't just sit somewhere to listen and run away. And I think all of this I do because I truly, truly love people and I want to make a difference.
Wow, that is a long one. And that's a lot of things happening in your life. So much interesting. I've been taking notes here and saying, wow, okay. Now, there's so much that we need to discover about you because, yes, I know the first time that I met you, you were in the corporate world doing marketing. It's interesting to see that your dad captured that you are going to be creative, which you are today, and it didn't make sense those many years ago. And now it makes a lot of sense to you that really my dad foresaw my future. If he foresaw your future, who you'd become and what your potential was, even though you couldn't see it. Again, other people began to see the same things that your father had told you. Maybe they had other wisdom, they could hear and see what you could not see. And now you are embracing that. But my question now is this, like 16 years in corporate world and you decide to step out of a job where there's surety. You're not scared. Most people can't be. Very scared, I guess. But
I was super scared. Yes.
But why live when everything is working out?
You know, in the corporate space, there's always going to be a ceiling. Honestly, there's going to be a ceiling. There's a place beyond which, because especially like now, if I was to give an example of the last place I worked in the corporate space, yeah. I was headhunted to begin a department to grow a product line. Let's just put it that way. And after 2 years, my product line or the department I was heading was contributing 70% of the income of the organization. And yet that is a fact. In fact, it reached a point that the revenue accountant called me and told me, okay, Rose, we are not going to give you a target because we are giving you targets and you're doing double, triple, 4 times. And so the best thing now, just tell us, what do you want to achieve in the next 1 year? But much as I was achieving those targets, it wasn't commensurate to my own pay. Okay, I was still, I would say, if I'm to look today in the current world in terms of pay, I was like in the mid-management level pay, yet I was able to do quite a bit. So of course, the company is restricted. There's only so much that they can pay someone at a particular level, you get. So I needed to level up, and then I was tired. So it was a huge jump. It was also a mental jump, because I'll tell you, this is a funny story. The first month when after leaving the corporate space, at the end of that first month, honestly, I passed through the ATM because I was used to going to the ATM to withdraw some money so that I can do my monthly things, you know. And I honestly passed through the ATM, and then I realized, oops, okay, there was nothing. And then I really, really laughed at myself. And I told myself, now I have to learn to make my own income so that I don't have to care about an end month, and I don't have to walk through an ATM at a particular month. I want to be able to be walking to an ATM at any time I wish to, and get my income. So yes, it was scary. I was scared, extremely scared, by the way. It was a jump. I had to jump. Yes, it was a serious jump.
And when you are talking about like the mental jump, what was going on in your mind? Like, this is something you haven't done. What were those things, the scary things that were going on that you could hear?
Okay, first of all, now to give you the picture of how scary this was, I made that jump.
Exactly, that's what that picture.
Yes, I made that jump. I didn't have another business that had been going on. I didn't have a side hustle, let's call it that way. I think everyone would understand. I did have a side hustle which had been already generating something for me. Okay. The second thing is that I was the only provider in my family. I was in a single parent headed family. Listen, there's nobody else your children will turn to. And what drove me was that picture I had of that greater future. You know, you have to have a big vision. If you have a small vision, you'll remain in a comfortable place. But if you have a larger vision, then you will work towards it. I think what I would have done differently, I don't know if I'll still be able to do it, but what I would have done differently, or what I can do differently now, I would taper off the transition. But because this one was a hard fall, honestly, I had just to get rid of all my comfort zone. So I would, and this is what I would encourage all the ladies who are listening, and even the gentlemen who are in their families. If you have a seed of entrepreneurship inside you and you love business, start growing your business. Give it even 1 hour per day, okay? And discipline yourself. Give it an hour a day and start tapering it, or tapering yourself and preparing yourself, you know, for your exit, because I didn't prepare myself for exit. So I had a lot of hard knocks. I mean, if I'm to tell about those stories, we will talk till next year, but we will laugh. And I'm so glad I went through that, because now I can help people not to make the mistakes I made. That what I did was really, really, it was radical, but I'm glad because I did it, because now where I can see myself going to is a place where I didn't even imagine when I was stepping out, you know. Now my future is brighter.
Wow. That's so nice. That's so inspiring at the same time, because then it means that you're able to jump and still sail through. You're frozen. You're frozen.
Sorry for that. I had received.
Oh, okay. I call. Yeah, that's very inspiring. Like you could do something daring like that and still be able to sail through, and you're here to give us like that picture of don't do it at home, like don't try this at all. And
yeah, don't try it at home.
Now my question is
sorry,
this.
I got calls. Yes.
Yeah, now my question is, you are in sales and marketing, and a lot of people fear that aspect like of sales and marketing, and you are in corporate and contributing the biggest portion of what was coming in. If you are in sales, maybe what is one lesson that you learned in sales and marketing that helped you to maybe get that revenue that the others could not bring in?
Okay, I think one of the things, and this is now where the creativity bit comes in, you have to really, really learn to go out of your way. If you keep on sitting at your desk and expecting that your customers will come in, it won't happen. So what I did, and some of the mad things I did, I'll tell you, like imagine I'd be driving and then I see a billboard and I see this is a new company, I've never seen it. I would quickly, and they're advertising their products to us, but me, I'm busy taking their contacts and seeing their location so that I can go and visit them. So those are the things. You have to be constantly on the lookout. Where in the industry I am in right now, we call it a name list. You constantly have to build the list of people that you're talking to, the list of companies that you're talking to. You constantly need to do that. The second thing is relationships. Listen, guys, always build your relationships. I think one of the things that helped me is that I'm able to build relationships with my customers. And so I do what we know as what is known as relationship selling. So you have to keep on building. Don't look at people as dollar signs. People are human beings, So if I may ask you, some of you, yeah, they are human beings. So if someone has a birthday and you are aware and they're your customer or your prospect, they have not yet become your customer, but they will in due course. Do you ever even wish them happy birthday? Do you even just call them, hey, hi, how are you? I'm just checking on you, because some people, they only call you when they need something from you. So we have to change our mindset and look at our customers as human beings. And so that helped me. One day I found myself in a temple, an Indian temple. Can you imagine? In Parklands, attending a cremation for my customer's brother who had been shot dead in Karen. I had to do that. And he was very impressed. And guess what? Anytime I visited the office, I always came out with many orders. I didn't even need to start telling him, please, I need orders. No. In fact, anytime he had any business, he would just call me straight. Hey, Rose, I'm sending you some documents. I need this consignment. So I think what we need to do is to really learn to build relationships and to relate with people as human beings, not as sources of funds. Yeah, that I think has saved my neck. Yeah, I don't do hard selling at all. My selling starts, it can start in an awkward way when I'm starting to learn the person, but as time goes on, it just rolls. I don't struggle at all.
Wow, that part of relationship selling, very, very, very interesting. I'm actually texting someone like, you know what, just join and listen to what this lady is saying. A lot of people assume that part of relationship building that it is not necessary, but it is necessary because we are first human before we can actually start buying. That is why you find that even our supermarket are collecting a lot of data about us so that they can understand us better. And that's why we find that we get even happy birthday cards, happy birthday messages from our banks. It's a relationship first before the transaction can happen. And we take it for granted. So you mentioned two things that made your sales work. That is creativity and relationship selling. Is there anything else? I'm actually taking points. I'm writing.
And then you have to be extremely professional. And this is what I mean. You need to learn to keep time. You need to learn to keep time. Absolutely. I see a lot of people sometimes giving so many excuses. If you think you're going to be late for a meeting, kindly just text in advance, maybe 15 minutes in time, and just let the person know that I'm running late. Kindly, I'll be there 5 minutes past time or something like that. I try my best always to keep time. The other thing you need to do, you need to have a structured way of working. Even this, they look basics, but some people don't even have diaries. You know, they say we will put it in our online diary. Imagine your phone can get lost, yeah? Like I lost a phone in December. Thank God I wrote a few things, quite a lot of things actually backed up. Otherwise I would have been in total trouble. So always make sure that you make sure you have a very professional outlook, have the correct tools, have a diary, diarize, write down. And then the other thing I used to do, and what I still do, when a customer gives me an appointment, I always I put it on I do it on an online calendar, and I send it directly to them on their email, so they get a reminder, and then they know that this person is actually very serious. But beyond that, even in your communication, I see it in with the younger generation that we have. They speak in, they write in short form. I think they have a problem writing the vowels. So instead of writing text me, so someone does TXT. No, don't do that with clients. Be extremely professional. Learn to write, have your dictionary there if you need it, yeah? But learn to write words properly. Because now what happens is that there's a caliber of customers you're going to attract, okay? There's and even the way you dress yourself. And there's something else, especially for the ladies, especially, don't ever sell your dignity for anything. I mean, for all those years, I can say, without batting an eyelid, because no one will come out of the woodwork and say she's lying. I've never had to sell my body at all. You know, even gentlemen, don't do those crazy things. Don't sell yourself. Don't relate romantically with your customers. Your customer is your customer. End of the story. Yes, he's a human being, like them, and celebrate their life achievements, mourn with them, but have very clear boundaries. Don't go past those boundaries. Don't go texting them at 10 p.m., even at 8 p.m., unless it's absolutely important. Try and keep your communications until maybe 6 p.m., maybe 6:37 at the latest. Yes, and for the young ones, really dress very decently. I get scandalized sometimes, and you see girls, nobody needs to see your bust. Imagine our mothers had busts, yeah, and they never used to flaunt them everywhere. So we need to really dress very, very decently and learn more about the culture of your customer. If you're going to see a customer who is a Muslim, you need to understand what would irritate them or what they would not appreciate. So don't go there in a mini skirt. No, just avoid those things. You can keep them for other customers. So you need to be very smart around, know more about your customer, even before you go see them. Learn more about them, see what they like, what the organizational color is. Even, by the way, you can dress in green when you're going to see your customer at Safaricom. Some things, they look small, but imagine they really will count for something. Yeah, and lastly, remember them at the end of the year. Give them a small gift, even if it's a pen. Send them a Christmas card, a digital one or an actual one, and just keep but make it a very respectful, professional relationship, and always keep time. When you're asked a question, when they want feedback from you, don't forget. And that's why you need a diary. Write it down and do it immediately the next day when you're supposed to. When you keep time, your customers take you very, very seriously.
Wow, those are really a lot of insights in terms of handling customers. And I think you really expounded that in a way you cannot say that you didn't get something. I'm happy to hear all those ideas, and I think a lot of us assume small things, and there's one that I've actually noted, that you said if you're going, say, to visit a client, what are their corporate colors and dress in that? Speak to that little bit. Speak to that. What does it mean?
It really means that, first of all, you have done your research. That's the first thing it means, that you have done your research and that you care about them. Human beings are intrinsically very self-centered. That's our default. We really think of ourselves first. But when we retrain that's the rewiring I had to do. And that's the training I had to take myself through, that I have to think of the customer first before I think of myself. So thinking about the customer first, it doesn't mean that you water down any of your values, but it actually means that you you cherish some of the things that they hold dear. So like a corporate color is something very, very dear to them. So if you just decide to rock, you know, a green scarf, even if you don't want to go into all green, you don't have to, but you can just have one small thing that they will resonate with. You know, psychologically, they will see you as one of them. So yeah, that's what I would say. Just think about your customer, learn, go to their website, even see what their corporate values are, and, you know, start working along that so that you can gel with them. And soon enough, they'll not see you as an outsider, but you'll start becoming, but not even one client has ever told me this. Many have told me, hey, by the way, Rose, unajua ni moja wetu, you know, like you are now one of us, you know, you become one of them, you know. And just, this is just as an aside, even from the parking, if you're driving or you've been dropped by Uber, be very courteous. You know, this hurts people's chances, especially on sales. I see this many times. People come in, they have insulted the watchman outside there, and you didn't know who else was there, you know, and you start messing your chances 100%. So be very courteous. Be courteous to the gateman, to the watchman, to the security people, to the secretary at the reception. You have to really, really upgrade your character. You know, you have to become a very polite person. Firm, yes, but extremely, you know, civil. No using, even if they assaulted you or they harassed you at the parking, don't insult them. You know, just you can just mention it as a by the way. Don't make it the topic of discussion. As a by the way, you know, to your host as you're leaving. By the way, I kind of had a tough time at the parking. Maybe you guys can look at it, and you leave it like that, because you don't want them to switch on their CCTV and see you exchanging words, you know? So you have to learn to be very professional.
A lot of people assume, and I think what you are speaking to is about relationship building from the first contact person that you meet. You have to know how to handle them. Most people think that when you meet, say, the security guy, the receptionist, those are not important people. Speak to that. Maybe that can give us light in terms of how do we relate to those people, like we're looking for business from them. And the first contact person that we meet means a lot to whether we pass through the gatekeepers to get to where we want or to who we want to speak to.
Yeah, actually, you've used the right word. I was looking at using gatekeepers. When we were in school, we used to be told, these are the gatekeepers, the secretary, the receptionist, the askari, the police, the security, the guy who is doing the mundane job, even the cleaner sometimes. Why these guys are very important is that there's some things they know that you would never know. They would know maybe the time, maybe your client or whoever it is that you're looking for, they would know the time they usually come in. They would know what they like. They know when they are available. If you become their friend, sometimes even they are the ones who will call you and tell you, hey, Rose, by the way, this is the right time. Maybe come and see this person. And you go there very, very fast because now the person is free. Or when maybe there's a small crisis in the office, and even if you had an appointment and the person is not picking your call, instead of getting flustered, this gatekeeper friend of yours will tell you, by the way, you know, hey, this guy has been given such a bad memo. We're having an emergency. Don't come in now. It's not about encouraging gossip of any form. It's becoming, I don't know how I can call it. It's becoming socially smart. You start learning that, yes, you have to have social intelligence. Honestly, you do. Because otherwise you'll keep on waiting for someone who will never show up. Because by the way, they had to go to Naivasha. They're not picking your call. And you're still waiting for them in Nairobi. And they will never come anyway. So when you have gatekeepers who you have treated very well, and by the way, if you have even a small gift item, it's always good. You can have, like me, I would have coffee to give them for free because I have sachets. We sell coffees also. I would give them a sachet and they would just go and, you know, enjoy, and they'll come back and tell me, hey, that coffee was nice. Imagine, do you know, that guy would never withhold information from me. Yeah? He would tell me. So it's just about becoming socially intelligent as well. So it is important because gatekeepers can hold a small key into how you're going to meet your target.
That's interesting. Lots of information in terms of how we treat other people, because sometimes maybe we are not conscious how we are treating the people we think they are not important. And in most cases, when we go to offices where we are maybe going for the first time, or we are going to see very senior people, we think that the gatekeepers, okay, they are not called gatekeepers. We think that the people we first meet, they're not really important because we are going to see a very, very senior or very, very important person. These are reminders, small reminders that whoever you meet is important to whoever you are going to meet, so that we take care of those people, so that by the time we reach to the person we are looking for, we get good treatment and we are ushered in a very nice way. And we might forget these small things, especially when we come, like you said, you're coming at the gates and you have a rough time, like with the askari at the gates. Yeah. We think that, oh, this guy is just a security guy. What is he telling me? He doesn't understand I'm having a very important meeting, not knowing it can even make it impossible for you to even get past there. Yeah, these are great reminders, really great reminders. And I like the idea that you've given us ideas of small gifts that we can have. Who would have thought that a sachet of, say, coffee could really make somebody really happy, appreciative of your presence? A gift of a pen, who could have thought of that? We just walking into people's offices and maybe we're carrying extra pens, extra this, extra that we could share, that is also gives kind of an image of who we are, a representation. And we assume that that is not important. I think these are great lessons, sales and marketing lessons, because we are reminded that whatever we have is useful and can be useful. I've actually taken a lot of notes, and I think there's one thing that you've spoken to about being professional and also keeping the time. A lot of time we assume that if we are going to have a relationship with that client, it will bring more business. But I like the fact that you are stuck to that gun and you say, in 16 years, nobody can come and claim that you had a relationship beyond. You set the boundaries. It is very, very important. And I remember one time telling my staff that never. And I think I thank my first boss. That's the first rule he gave me. Winnie, never gets involved with anyone with your client. First rule. And if you live by those basic rules, it helps you because you create those boundaries. So you have nothing to feel afraid of. And you can see that as you progressed in 16 years, you look back and you can say, yeah, I did the right thing and I kept those boundaries and I still met the target. 70% of the sales that are generated is not a joke. Like you are doing job for everyone. It must threaten the other salespeople, like, what am I doing here if I'm not even generating those sales? And you are doing simple things that we can all adopt. Professional look, always have a gift if possible. Set your boundaries, have somewhere where you can write. And I think maybe you could speak about that. Now that we have technology, we have to remember still to use our diaries. Where else can we take notes, especially like when we are doing those meetings and we need to remember. And I like the fact that you say that, set the appointments and then send an email follow-up. And we are speaking to a generation where they think these things are not important. After all, they're supposed to know. How are you supposed to know? Why is it important to keep those dates and to even remind the person you're going to meet? Why is it important?
I think I can say, even as I've remembered one more thing, but I hope I'll remember to share it at the end of this. It's important because, you see, if you're using, because unless you're going to the customer's office with your laptop, or maybe you have an iPad, it has to be, whatever you're using, if it's digital, it has to be a clean surface that will not interrupt you. What I mean is this, even right now, we've just experienced an interruption because I'm using my phone. So imagine you're trying to type something your customer has told you, and then you get a WhatsApp or you get a call and you see it is your mother or it's someone who is urgent that you need to attend to, or your child's school. So I think what I do and what I say, I said I'll keep it analog. I take notes on my notebook. I take notes in my diary, whichever the case. I have there's a small version of a diary. It's a really the smallest. I can't remember what size it is, but it's the smallest diary that you can imagine. So I go with that one so that it doesn't look that bulky. Okay, although mine is A5 size, so it's not very big, B5 rather. So I just write down. So I write down to avoid digital interruptions, because there are so many interruptions. You see a WhatsApp message, you see a telephone call, you see a text, you see whatever notifications from your social media platforms. And also when you are taking notes and you're using your phone, how will the customer know that you're not reading a message and you're taking notes, So to avoid those conflicts, I usually just use my diary. I keep my phone facing face down. Okay, it faces face down, and then I have my diary open, because of course the meetings are controlled. It won't take like 20 minutes or more. So unless there's an emergency, I think then you can survive without your phone for 20 minutes. So just put it face down and write so that you can engage. You need to have the face-to-face, engagement with if it is a face-to-face, a physical meeting. But if it is a digital meeting, of course, now you can do whatever, because the customer is not face-to-face. But if it's a face-to-face meeting, it really goes a long way to show that the client that you're not distracted, you're not on your phone, you're actually, in fact, people like feeling important, and that's a skill that people need to learn, how to make someone else feel important. When you're paying attention to someone and they're talking to you and you're writing down, they know you're here. If you're on your phone writing down, they don't know whatever you're doing, or it's neither here nor there. And then the one last thing I needed to add about it's mentorship. Why I was able to do what I was able to do there in terms of the sales figures is that, and even now, I find myself quite in the position where I have to mentor. Always have someone, if this is within, and I'm talking to entrepreneurs, so I think I'm on course. Always have someone who can do what you can do. You have to duplicate yourself. And so how I was able to duplicate myself, even at my workplace, I used to train my team. Either on a Saturday or usually it was on a Saturday, like from 11 or from 9 to 1 or 9 to 3. I used to train them. You need to learn to share skills. I see people being very mean with information. I always wonder why. When you are mean with information, when you don't empower the next person who is working with you in your team, then you're going to suffer as a result. So the reason why I was able to do so well is because I had so many mini-me's, in the organization. I trained literally everyone, not just salespeople, even people who are in operations. I took them through something. And so they would come and say, oh, but I have a client, they need this. Or I have a client. And then sometimes they're able to do a lot. And so you need to learn to duplicate yourself, entrepreneur. And this is what I see us lacking, especially in the African setup. I don't know what it is that we have, that we don't like to impart knowledge and wisdom down the line, whether it is generation or to other people. Generation, I can say, in terms of estate planning. I see the Asian community does this very, very well. When their children are still in even high school or they start university, they already start internship, and they learn on the job. And so us here as entrepreneurs, until you are able to clone yourself through training, you're still going to have a very, very rough time, because you need to have people who are like you, who will run and build a business like you. Somebody said, and I think, was it Warren Buffett? I'm not sure, but he said that I would rather earn 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my effort. If you learn how to do that, then you shall be successful.
Very, very important. Actually, duplicate yourself and you see the results, because one of the things that you're going to learn is if others can do what you can do, they'll do it better and they will increase your sales. they will make sure that things are working and it's working. And when you have 10 of roses in the same company, differently, the results will be different. And that's very, very, very interesting, because a lot of time, like you're saying, a lot of people don't like sharing. They will keep that information to themselves and they will not share. They will not help others to grow. And you're within the same organization and you're supposed to be growing your revenue. You're supposed to be getting further instead of moving backwards. And by holding the information, you are holding back the team, which is something maybe some people will take it for granted. And I'm glad you talked about mentorship, because a lot of people assume it is assigned to certain people. But if you're doing better than the others, why can't you bring in the others? They can learn what you're doing so that they can also do that better than you are doing, or even they can be able to help you. That is really insightful in terms of what you are doing. And to think that doing all this and you are getting all that revenue, how did it feel like for the sales team? Did they feel they had a leader in you, or did they feel threatened? What did they feel? Because here you are bringing in 70% of the revenue. That's not a small thing. It's not. And I'm sure even like the directors or the executive, they're wondering, what is this lady doing? She's a magic woman.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Now, how do I say this while still remaining safe? Now, actually, my country general manager one day, because what happened is that I was always able to be given the, what can I say? I was always being given the toughest clients to deal with. Right. So I would go and come back with an order. So, and everyone used to be scared of dealing with irate clients. So one day the country general manager called me and asked me, how do you do this? You know, they couldn't understand. So yes, my team were very happy. I was by no means the sales manager. I was just one of them, but they were very happy that I was able to impart knowledge with them. They were very happy, and we were able to win together because they were also earning from it. Of course, the threats come, and you need to know that threats will come, especially as a woman. You will know that for sure. Yes, the threats, now you'll start becoming, and I was not a threat to my team, but I was a threat to some other peripheral managers. You know, they would wonder, because now our department was, our sales department in total was doing better than theirs. Yes. So you move in stride. This is what I tell people, and this is what I say, women, please, let's learn to focus, be like a duck. You know, when you see a duck, when there's water on the back of a duck, the water doesn't sit on the feathers. What does it do? It just slides down. So let all those negativities slide down. Don't internalize, and always have a way to decompress, because at the end of a heavy day, you may need to decompress. So you'll find your happy place. You might be somebody who likes to sing. You can go for Zumba, you can go dance, do, gym, and yeah, you can go to church and pray. It works for some people. Yeah, but learn to decompress so that you don't keep those here. And I would say, imagine I'm actually turning 50 next year, and I'm grateful to God that, can you imagine, my blood pressure, the last time I checked it, is still 100 and what was it? It was 117/79 or something like that. In fact, the doctor was like, your blood pressure is for a young person. But the thing is, yes, you see, if that negativity, I've seen women developing high blood pressure, developing issues because of internalizing and not exhaling. You have to learn to breathe out all those negative vibes that you pick, because a winner will always attract both admirers and critics. So you have to learn how to use the criticism. Yes, you have to learn how to use the criticism for positivity to yourself. Okay, you have to learn how to improve yourself. And if you see it's not a criticism that is based on anything, ignore it. You have to really grow a very thick skin as a woman who is winning in the entrepreneurship world, because it's a school of hard knocks. But when you hack the system, then you will go beyond your own thoughts and dreams.
Wow, that's a good reminder, because a lot of times I think maybe we internalize those criticism and we forget what you've said, that something that is good will attract those things. So it's because you are doing something, that's why there's a bit of noise. we are not doing anything, nobody will be there, the noise will not be there. So just understanding that there is something that you are doing that is impacting the world. And of course, that means that others will not be happy as would think. And you mentioned something about tough clients. Now, what was it that, because a lot of people even, not even tough clients, a lot of people even just fear speaking to strangers. So how did you manage that? You're going to tough clients, and we're speaking about even just a stranger, to start a conversation with a stranger. How did you handle that?
I think number one, you have to have an attitude of humility. I see many entrepreneurs, especially those who came from the corporate sector, you know, they come in with their airs, they come with their title, they carry it on their head, and now they're talking to people with that title. You really, really have to learn to humble yourself and talk to people, see them as people. So I think that's what has really helped me. That's the one thing that has always helped me. I see them as human beings first. So when the customer is annoyed, you go to the customer and you apologize. That's the first thing you need to do. You apologize, whether or not you are responsible, right? You have to apologize. Yes, you have to apologize and tell them, I'm sorry, this has gone wrong. And you explain as much as you can explain. Some things you may not be able to tell the customer, but you explain that we faced the challenges in this and this and this area. And this is what we have done to counter. You always have to show the customer that there's something you're doing to improve, so that they can have faith that next time they entrust you, they will not go through the same issue. And then you make sure you run like a crazy person. After they give you the next order, you make sure everything is in place. And you also feed back your team and tell them, hey guys, we need to communicate on this is what we discussed. And so you work together. So you just have to humble yourself. You have to apologize. You have to give an action plan of what actually you have already started doing to rectify the mess. And you have to give a firm promise and make yourself personally responsible. Tell them this next, whatever it is that you're going to do, this next business you're going to give me, I am going to personally oversee it and make sure everything goes okay. And imagine, depending on your tone, we really have to watch our tones also. Don't be very harsh to your customers. Don't be kali. You know, you go there like you've eaten pepper, hot pepper. Even if the customer is wrong, imagine, just humble yourself. Just humble yourself. And it is okay to live without an order, but don't live with an enemy, okay? It's okay never to do any other business with them, but just leave them knowing that you came and you try to make amends.
Wow. That's really important to remember all the time we're dealing with clients, because clients are different and things can go wrong anytime. And if we know how we can handle that, then we can keep a difficult customer. And I think that is one of the things that you taught us today, that it's important to think about how we are going to handle those tough conversations, how we approach these people, where you find that you're having challenges with the client, what do you need to remember and keep in mind as you go to visit them, so that as you leave, even if you don't live with an order, at least you've left a friend behind, somebody you can talk to. And I think you mentioned many things: being humble, attitude, tone. We're not aware sometimes, like you're saying. Be aware, what is the tone you're going to be using when you're speaking to this client? Wow, too much. You are giving us so many things here. I'm like inspired, like, what? This is too much. It's like we are in a sales and marketing class. We're not following the rules that are there in the books. We are following the real experience that is out there that you have to apply. Now, I want to ask a question with regard to still sales and marketing. And in this case, now that trends are changing because of the way we are doing business, is there anything that you find that is different from what we were doing before the lockdown ends now in terms of marketing?
There's a lot more, I think, digital, and I hope, I don't know how much longer we have. Let me see what time it is. supposed to be somewhere. Yeah, there's a lot of a bent towards digital, the digitalization of our engagements, because people did that during the pandemic and they were still able to do that. Yes, so I think that's the trend. People have to learn how to market themselves online. Okay, like even I have less one-on-one meetings and more online engagements. I even book my appointments on phone or WhatsApp. Can you imagine? That's like now how WhatsApp, COVID changed everything. Everything became digitalized. There's less personal interaction. So I think we can also encourage them, because a personal interaction would give you more mileage in terms of creating a relationship rather than just a WhatsApp. So even after you do the WhatsApp, find a way to meet your customer face to face if it is possible, or even do a video meeting rather than a formal video meeting like at the office. Yes, it gives you sort of a sense that you've met them or you can see them. So yeah, so that's basically what I can say. It digitalized our interactions.
Wow. So you still go back to the same thing, relationship selling, build the relationship, get to know the people, see how you can serve them as human beings first before you sell to them. That's how we build the relationship. That's how we get our revenue increasing, because we are selling to human beings and they have to have that connection, personal connection with you. Thank you so much. Now, just this one is now outside this, because it's like we're in a sales and marketing class, learning and taking. I've written so much notes here. I've taken so much. I'm so glad that we're able to tap into your 16 years and like in just one sitting, we are already learning so much. And I'm sure that we are going to pick some of the things there and go implement, like, especially I like that part of the gifts of the coffee sachets. I've never thought about something like that. That's really nice. And nowadays they sell the teas, everything is a sachet. You can just buy one box and say, okay, when I go. And I think something maybe you didn't even mention is it's important also to get to know the person, because you can't give coffee to everybody. Some people take coffee, some people take hot chocolate, just that detail. Maybe that is what you mentioned when you say learn the customer so that you know who they are. This is too much in terms of sales and marketing. I just wanted to ask, now that you are no longer there, you've been in several other businesses. I know you've worked with us in like catering, and I'm sure now you are in another industry again. Are these skills, sales and marketing, helping you to transition from one business enterprise to another?
Absolutely, absolutely. Actually, the COVID interrupted, rightly so. I think it was about time, yeah? It disrupted my foray into the hospitality industry. Of course, I will, with time, if I want to, I think, go back. But the skills there's no skill that goes to waste, Winnie. This is what I've learned. Yeah. And these skills have really, really helped me to be able to settle in and start seeing results faster, because now I don't have anyone, I don't have to sit and learn about how to handle customers, how to talk to them, how to behave with them, how to build relationships with them. Those skills have helped me to seamlessly move across the industry. So yes, the skills have learned. And sometimes I keep on saying, some people, I think everyone should, go through sales at some point, even when you're having an employer. Yeah, if you're an employer, even those people are coming to be accountants, let them do sales, just even if it's for a week on the attachment, let them just have a sense, because there's a mindset that you need to have in order to succeed, and that they would need to understand, so that when someone is making a requisition for something, they won't ask so many questions, because now they know exactly what is going on behind the scenes.
Yes, we are still introducing new concepts and ideas and things. Yeah, because I'm like taking notes and putting a full stop and then you bring in something. So now here is an accountant that is going to be in an internship, for example, in your company, and you're saying you need to put them through sales mindset. And maybe you have the other employees who actually don't know there's something like that. So what are you saying? What do you mean by sales mindset? Because I think maybe a lot of us are held back and maybe fear and even fail to recognize, even when we are just an employee, we are supposed to be selling our skills so that we can get the promotion. Speak to that sales mindset now, because you are the one who introduced it.
I think what I mean now, to answer your question specifically,
Yes.
If you have an accountant who has worked for a long time, because now these are two things. If it's a new accountant, tell them you're going to go around the departments. That one is simple. You can manage that one. But for an accountant who's been an accountant for a long time, now you would need to introduce the fact that they can see clients, in terms of they would be part of a client visit. If you're going to visit a client, let the accountant be part of that visit, so that they can understand how a customer is, what a customer asks. So let him be exposed to two scenarios: an existing customer and a new customer. Not a new customer, a prospect who has not yet been turned into a customer. Let them go for a sales visit together with a salesperson. Let them not do the sales talk. Man, you're going to lose that sale perhaps. So let them go together with a salesperson. Let them sit into the meeting, and they can be introduced in any way, including his own induction. That one will give him a ticket to keep his mouth shut, so that now the salesperson will be talking, and then he'll understand these are the challenges these people go through. That way he will understand a salesperson from a very deep place. And if somebody says, maybe wants to ask for a small amount for maybe an allowance for whatever it is, maybe for transport or for, now they will understand, they will get it, and they will not withhold or they'll not question, because now they will understand. Okay. So let the
Wow. Learning so much. If you have questions, please feel free to just put them in the chat. I think she's just received a call. Maybe that is what has disconnected her. But I hope that you're learning a lot of lessons from her experience as an entrepreneur and as one in charge of sales and marketing. So put in your question there, so that when she gets back, before she leaves, she can answer your question, because I believe we all need to have that sales mindset, so that anytime we're working in organization, we know that all of us can generate an income. And you can see that from my experience, she says that it's good to teach all the others to duplicate yourself. Oh my goodness, she's been kicked out of the meeting. And if you can understand that the part that you need to have other people also knowing how to do what you are also doing, it's very, very key. That is a lot of information that she has shared in terms of what she has done in her career, 16 years. So she's packed it so well for us, so that we can remember there are certain things that can give us success and give us more revenue. The question is, what one action will you take from what she has offered us? I believe she has given us so many tips that we can pick from, and I believe that she has shared and inspired, besides challenging us to realize that we too have the opportunity to have a sales mindset, and that we can build relationships first before we sell to our clients. I've taken a lot of notes, and I believe you have also taken a lot of notes. I'm going to give her some few minutes to see whether she'll join us back, but I'm so glad that she has shared a lot of wisdom from my experience as a sales and marketing person, because every person, regardless whether they're in sales and marketing, we all need at some point to sell our skills, and we can sell our skills in various ways. And she's given us so many examples. I've taken notes, I've written most of the things that she has shared, and I've even noted that There are things we assume and take for granted. Small things. She said, have a gift, can give somebody a gift. At the end of the year, have a gift. Give the gift to somebody who is your client. Remember their birthdays, if their deaths. She gave all these things. We have them at our disposal. We know when our clients are maybe having birthdays, because you can see the reminder, or maybe their friends are saying happy birthday to them. We could send in a message. Maybe they have been given an award. We can send in a message to say congratulations. They have changed their career. We can send in a message to say congratulations. We can also remember when they are leaving or changing their career. I saw the other day somebody, I was just trying to build a relationship. They have just changed their career, and I just send a message. We don't know each other, but I send in a message, and people really appreciate. Like she says, people always are selfish. They think about themselves more. So if we can remember to remember them, then they will know that you have appreciated, and definitely to be very easy to sell to them. Rose, you're back. You can just have your camera on.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I told you can be kicked out and brought back. So much to learn. So I'd love to ask you, before we bring this to an end, 3 things you'd tell your younger self. 3 things you'd tell your younger self if you have to go all through this.
Wow, 3 things I would tell my younger self.
Yes.
I would tell myself to take risks. I think being an entrepreneur has taught me how to take risks. I was very risk averse. I was full of fear. Sometimes you don't realize how full of fear you are. So I would tell my younger self, take more risks. I would have probably been an entrepreneur earlier. Yes. So that is part of take risks. And I'm glad to say this. My eldest daughter, she started just by being an entrepreneur. She does contracts here and there, but imagine she's actually a CEO of her own digital media company, registered in the UK, and she has employees at her age. So yes, she does. Yes, and among her customers are Amref and the Yes, Amref and the UN are part of her customers. So I think I would take risks more. That's my younger self. I'll tell my younger self to take more risks. The next thing I'll tell my younger self is you're good enough. I think I grew up with a lot of low self-esteem issues. And I know it doesn't make sense because you're looking at this very, people call me a good speaker, whatever it is. I'm trying to look for the English word for it, yes. But they say that I'm able to speak well. But then here I am. I was fraught with a lot of self-esteem issues growing up because I never felt I'm good enough. I had self-esteem issues from here till Timbuktu. So the younger self, I would tell her, you're good enough. You're good enough. You're good to go. Yeah. Don't always second guess yourself. Yeah. Don't deny yourself chances because you feel like you don't deserve them. You deserve every good thing. Yeah. Think better of yourself. So those are the 2 things I would tell myself. The third one, I would say, the third one, I think I would tell myself to be patient, especially where, what can I say? Making choices, yeah? Especially for, I'll tell myself, this is the third thing I'll tell myself. I found the words. I'll tell myself, be careful who you surround yourself with. Be careful who you surround yourself with, yes. And those are now what I would call them relationship choices that we make, especially the intimate relationship choices, who you marry, or yes, who forms family with you. You have to be very careful. So these are things I would tell myself, I have to make sure that, spiritually, we keep on saying, is a person equally yoked? Let me tell you, equally yoked is not only spiritual. It is so true that in terms of mindset, in terms of support, And I see a lot of great women suffering. They're unable to rise up because they've been bogged down by their, the people who are around them, their life partners or their family setups. They're unable to become the eagles that they truly are. And being an eagle doesn't mean that you respect your family. It only means that you actually are in a position to give much better, bigger value to your family, because now you are able to bring more, you're able to do more. So be very, very careful. This is what I would tell, the 3 things I would tell myself. Have no fear, you're enough, and be careful about the people you surround yourself with, because the people around you can either make or break you. And for women, especially when we love very, very intensely. And so when you have to recover from those, when you make wrong decisions, then there has to be a recovery period. And that recovery period it takes a toll on your growth on the other side. You're only human. You can't, there's only so much you can do. So especially because women, we are so meshed with our family affairs, we have to be very careful about the people who are in our space. We need also to help our girls, our daughters, to think that and to know that they are able to do great things for themselves, that they're enough, yes, and teach them also that the mistakes that you made, you as the older lady, as the mother, as the auntie, as the mentor ahead of them, let them not also make the same mistakes. It will be a tragedy if the mistakes go down the generations. So become the mistake breaker, the generational chain breaker of all the negative things that you've seen as you have grown up in your own life. As a woman, start breaking those ones by your conscious decisions, by what you do today.
Wow, you're speaking to us. Really, this is really, really good. And I'm inspired because then you're speaking to the things some of us go through, but we don't realize, we don't speak about it. So I can see that part, and I can see you actually touching on the points that a lot of women go through, and a lot of things that put them down because they think it is okay because they are socialized in that way to accept things as they are. But just to know that you deserve better, that you are enough, is very, very important, so that you don't have to look for anything outside yourself, so that you know that whatever it is that you need is within you, and that you are just enough as you are. And being careful about the people who surround yourself is important, because at the end of the day, they either help you grow or they keep you. And I'm glad that you're speaking to those things, because some of those things are what helped you to grow. Because then around you, the people could see the potential, and you went out to that potential and you rose to it. And little did you know that you could be more than what you had been set to believe that you could do. And I guess maybe also stepping out of the corporate may help you realize that that ceiling was within there, that when you reach sometimes at the ceiling, you need to find other ways outside. That is really, really important and inspiring and challenging as well. Is there anything else that you've forgotten that you'd like to mention? We've really spoken. I thought it was going to be just 30 minutes, but I didn't know that we are going to get into a sales and marketing class and be challenged. Yeah, I even forgot the part of the Sunday school, because this is like, wow, this lady is speaking. She's in class. She's inspiring. She's getting us out of our comfort zone, because like you said from the onset, you should never expect the client to come and find you seated where you are. Go out there, get the client. The client is out there.
Yeah, I don't know, final remarks. I don't know what else I can say. Honestly, I don't think I have anything. I've really, really poured myself out, my experience, my insights, even the things I didn't know. So of course, I'm going to be one of the first people to say, I'd be happy to see the recording. And this session is not being recorded, by the way.
It is recording.
Yeah, okay. On my end, it didn't say recording. So anyway,
it's recording on my end. No, it's recording on my end.
No problem. Yeah. So I'll be one of the first ones to ask for the recording, because I am surprised that I say some things that I did. Now this is what happens when you become very comfortable in the space you're operating in. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for the opportunity. I am super, super blessed to have been here. And I hope somebody got some help. And I know if anyone wants any further guidance, Winnie will always connect you.
Yeah, no, you're the connector. Remember, you're the one connecting people. No, Eunice, this is what Eunice said. Personally, I'm giving my clients gifts out of blues. Trust me, it works, and it catches them by surprise. Now they are loyal. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Eunice, for picking on that. Eunice is one of my mentees. She's in textile. So she's sharing, yeah. I was inviting them. I said, wow, you need to come to this this sales and marketing class, the PhD professor is in class. Let's learn as much as we can. I love that. And I'm so happy that because of your action, your daughter has gone beyond what you could imagine. Imagine having an organization in UK, having really top clientele. That's no mean thing. That's really not a small thing. Who could imagine that Rose could do this much, but the daughter could come and just surpass her in ways that she could not even imagine. And I'm sure where she is sometimes, maybe she's happy that what you showed, because children don't listen. They watch and then they do what they see. So by seeing what you've done, they've been able to go beyond what you could even imagine. I think there's no way you could have imagined what she could do. And she has surpassed you, because that is really good what she's doing. That's inspiring as well as challenging somebody to ask themselves that. And maybe that's the question you are speaking to when you say, am I good enough? You start asking yourself, am I good enough? Really, if this child can go out there. And I think a lot of the conversation in sales, it's maybe that conversation of, am I good enough? And that's why maybe we don't start conversations with strangers. And that's why we are fearful. And I think I like the part that you said, even the accounts person, the intern, should go with the salesperson. In any case, the only way for you to outgrow the fear is to take the action and do the thing. Everybody's scared. Who said anybody's not? Everybody's scared. Even the most successful people, they're scared. They started somewhere. If you don't start, you won't do it. It's simple. It's straightforward. You have to do it. You have to do it. Scared or not, you have to do it. Unless you do it, you sit at the desk, there's no client who's going to come. And I'm so happy to learn so much, because from you, I've seen that our clients are all over. If you were just looking at the billboards that somebody was advertising and you are thinking, this could become my client, that's amazing. That we are surrounded by our clients, but we just take them for granted. We seriously are not looking out there. And I love the fact that you open our eyes, our perspectives, to stop thinking the way we were, I think, at the beginning, and now how we're thinking is quite different. It shows that there's so much that we can learn, and we should not assume, and we could learn from people. Thank you so much, Rose, for accepting, first of all, to come and speak to us, and for giving us the time and sharing all the wisdom. Wow. Walking away from six-figure, not a joke. Making 70% of the revenue, not a joke. And then inspiring your own daughter to be something that you never imagined. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much.